Hello, party people on Internet City. How's it going? We hope you all are doing fantastic out there. It's another Wednesday night, which means we are doing our thing here on the podcast. Melissa, how are you?
Yes.
How's your week been?
I've been good, Kyle. I want to ask you, what's the biggest pie you've ever seen?
The biggest pie. Are we counting pizzas? Because that
No.
would... No? Okay.
Dessert pie.
I don't know. I feel like they're all pretty standard, right? They're like the like what? 6 inch. I don't know how big that is, right?
I think
like
the average pie
store-bought
pans,
crust, right? Yeah.
9 to 12 inches across. And then if you go to like a Costco or something, I believe you can get a wider pie. But this weekend, I had a tall pie.
Oh,
regular
that's right.
width, intense in height.
That's right. It was also your birthday this past week, so happy belated birthday. Was
Thank you.
This pie in relation to your birthday?
So months ago, my mom and I got a voucher for a free one of these fancy tall pies at a charity fundraiser event we went to. And it's at a restaurant that's like an hour south of here, so it's a little bit of a trip. And we kept saying, oh, we should go get that pie. And for my birthday, I was like, I'm taking the day off, Mom. We're going to get the pie. So you need to Google this, Kyle. You need to look at it with your own eyes. Please Google the Blue Owl Restaurant and Bakery pie.
Owl Restaurant and Bakery. And then let me...
So what this is an apple pie. And inside, it's got the finest, thinnest layers of apples. Just
pull this up
fully
on screen
stacked
here.
up in there. It is dense in apple. And it's covered in like a dome of crust, like a mountain of crust, right? And then they can also slather like caramel and pecans on top of the crust.
Yeah.
Are you seeing this thing?
Yeah, this is wild. This thing, so for audio listeners out there, it almost looks like a gumdrop shape. It's this big mound.
Yes.
But inside, is just stacks and stacks and stacks of apple slices.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's hard to just describe what this is.
It's a tall pie.
It's a tall
That's
pie.
it.
Exactly. Yeah. Wow.
So when you take it home, they like put it in like a shipping box and like cover it with packing tape. It is sturdy. And then my mom took it home, and then before I was able to get into it, my dad carved into it. And my dad's idea of how to tackle this thing was to cut a hole out of the top like he's making a jack-o'-lantern and start scooping out apples from the top of the pile.
Oh, goodness.
He went top down.
Yeah, that is like how else would you? You almost kind of have to scoop it out like a pumpkin. I mean, they have like slices of it.
Yeah.
Here, I'm looking at slices, but
I would also be daunted to cut a slice out of it myself. I would trust the professionals there at the bakery to serve me a slice. But yeah, I did try and slice it. I did try and get a triangle. It was an event. It was an adventure.
That's kind of wild. Good stuff. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you did not know, this is number 210 of the Whatnauts Captain's Log, where each week we thirst for the taste of legend. My name is Kyle Springer, and I am joined by Melissa Wilkinson.
Hi.
Oh, man, tall pie. That sounds fantastic. Did they only have like this one flavor, and it just like covered with extra stuff, or could you get like banana cream pie or key lime pie?
If you're Googling, you can see other things they have in the bakery case. Their entire bakery case is beautiful. They do have other pies. They've got some delicious looking cakes and cheesecakes and things. I just think apple is the only type of pie that comes in tall.
Interesting. So when I was in college, I worked on this design project. I don't know if I've mentioned it. I may have in some other context here. But for one of my design classes, there was only like 3 of us guys in there. So for a group project, we teamed up just ourselves, and the project was to make an app. We did not have to actually make the app, but we just had to prototype it out, stuff like that. And so we decided to make an app about making apple pies. And it was like, pick your own recipe. Like, okay, if you pick this as your starter ingredient, then this pairs well with these things. If you want this,
I want to start
kind
with
of like
apple.
sweetener. Well, it had like different kinds of apples. Like, oh, if you use this apple, like this will give you a more tart pie or stuff like that. And we would recommend using this kind of sweetener or this kind of fattening agent and stuff like that. So it was kind of like build your own recipe apple pie. But we started to come up with an idea like this of just like, what if we could make some just absolutely obnoxiously decadent apple pie that was completely like, somehow it's like the whole apple is still there in the pie. What's good? We never hit on this exactly, but this is reminding me of that. Yeah, no, we didn't think up. We thought out.
Gotta think vertically. I do have to tell you, I have heard this story at least 3 times.
I
don't know where, I don't know when, but I know the story of your apple pie app.
It's a good memory. Speaking of apple pies and stuff like that, I have some soda. And you're like, wait, what? What does that have anything to do with apple pie? Because one of them...
It's a treat.
It's not that one. Where is it? Oh, God, now I can't find it. Where is it? What's happening? Here it is. I have Twigs caramel apple soda.
Ooh.
Made with 100% real sugar. So I, this past weekend, I had a fantastic weekend. By the way, we'll get into more details on that in a sec. But we stopped at this place called Pops. And I have a 6-pack of soda with me right here, right now. It was kind of a make your own 6-pack because Pops is this really interesting store that has all kinds of soda, all kinds of like smaller craft soda from smaller breweries around the country. We're there in this store, but the store is also it's like half convenience store, half like 50s style diner. And on the outside, it was also it was also a gas station too, which is like the least important bit here. But the building itself it looked like a smaller version of some city's like convention center where they like big glass like one whole side is all glass. It's on a slant. It has so you remember when you came to visit and there was that one bridge that had that like weird like construction looking statue that I think is meant to be like a bird or something.
Yes,
it absolutely does not. Think of an awning on top of the building that's designed the same way. Like it has that like kind of like industrial like futuristic look to it. I don't know if that's the right word to describe it.
I'm Googling it. I'm looking at it. It looks like some sort of deconstructed aircraft hangar, but there's no planes inside. There's just soda.
Exactly. But you would think if it's like, oh, these like craft sodas and a 50s diner on the inside. It would look like a 50s diner, but this does not.
No, it doesn't
at all.
This is cool. This is like Rocketeer looking. I dig it.
Right? Yeah. So we stopped in there and picked out a bunch of sodas. And it was neat because I got all sorts of stuff. So I have this 6-pack here. I already mentioned the caramel apple one. I have one that is a strawberry kiwi breeze. Also lime green in color. Get swept away. I don't know if what's the name of this brewery? I don't know. I can't find it. I don't see it. Excel is what's on the cap here, so I don't know about that one. But I figured I would have one of these on the podcast. I have a Red Ribbon Cola.
Ooh.
So with pinpoint carbonation is
what
it said. I have no idea what
kind of
means.
Stark Industries technology is that?
Pinpoint carbonation. We'll have to look that up in a sec here. I also have this is the one that I will have tonight, but I have a Fitz's Shirley Temple soda. This is the brewery that's near where you live, Melissa.
I don't know if it's called a brewery, if it makes soda. I've always, I believe Fitz's is referred to as a bottle works, which I don't know if that's more specific, but at least it doesn't indicate beer.
Yeah, right. I also have this is like a real like light sky blue. It's called a Dad's Old Fashioned Blue Cream Soda. Caffeine free. That's an interesting one.
I looked it up. I looked up pinpoint carbonation here at natronabottling.com. There's a Red Ribbon soda right here as the example. Pinpoint carbonation is a vintage carbonation process that was once used by many small bottlers across America. Today, we are one of the few and the last, we believe, that uses dry ice to make its own carbonation. Taking dry ice pellets and placing them in pressurized tanks the day before, they melt and create more natural CO2. When the gas is integrated with the water and injected into the bottle, it produces a smaller, smoother, more balanced bubble that enables the flavors to gently dance across your palate with every sip. This process also enables the beverage to stay carbonated much longer than you may be used to. After opening the bottle, if you screw the cap back on and place the bottle aside, you may be surprised at how long the product can stay carbonated and fresh. I was when I reopened a Red Ribbon seltzer that I had placed on my home bar 4 months prior.
Wow. 4 months. Last but not least, I also have a Cool Mountain cream soda, and it is clear.
Ooh.
It is entirely clear.
Completely clear.
Yeah, which I thought that was neat.
Not opaque at all.
So I have all of these, but I will be trying one on the podcast for the next couple weeks here. So I'll start with the Shirley Temple from Fitz's. This was not one of the ones that you brought over when you came to visit here. So I've not had this one.
I haven't tried it yet. I believe it tastes like the classic Shirley Temple mocktail, which is just like lemon lime soda and cherry grenadine.
Yep. Basically, that's. I feel like there's a little bit of watermelon in there too.
Whoa.
Maybe that might be the like lemon lime-ish of it. But yeah, this is very good, very light. It's not like heavy on the flavor. It's good. I like this one a lot. The Shirley Temple from Fitz's. Good stuff.
Nice.
Good stuff indeed.
What a cute bottle.
I'll be sipping on this one as we continue our podcast and such.
Ooh.
Melissa, did you get up to any other birthday shenanigans?
Oh, I took 2 days off work, which I rarely do, and then I have to do because I get to like October and I realize how many days I have left to burn through before the end of the year. So Mom and I took a day and we went down to Kimmswick, Missouri, this cute little town. That's where we got the giant pie from.
Yeah.
And it's all like, come to Mima's barn, buy your home goods. It's all like kitschy little like souvenir shops like that.
Mhm.
And like this Blue Owl restaurant, we sat on like a covered porch with fans. It's so like homey and country style, the whole place.
That's cool.
It's fall. There's like, corn stalks and scarecrows and like leaves tumbling around everywhere. It was picturesque.
Perfect time to go. Yeah.
And then the next night I went to a haunted house. And I got to tell you about this haunted house, Kyle.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Sign me up.
This is a very small local haunted house that I think just started last year. It's called Terrified Exist. Not The Terrified Exist or Terrified Existence. It is called Terrified Exist. A phrase I still turn around in my brain trying to untangle what that means. And this, my friend and I picked this one because it was in North County. It was like the closest haunted house to us. We didn't have to drive into the city or out into the country to get to the other bigger haunted houses. And it's like $15. We said we go try it. So first off, the directions take you to a healthcare center. And I think that might be like where the office is registered. Instead, I was completely lost. I had to like turn back around, go back down the road. And the place is actually off of a unlit, unmarked like gravel road. I think there was a sign, but it's night and the sign is not lit. So you can't see it.
Yeah.
You just have to take a gamble, go down this gravel road. And it's just it's in the suburbs, like out in the suburbs where there's like, the spacious suburbs, not rural necessarily, but the places where the houses are on like bigger plots of land. Some of the houses will have like a workshop or something in the back, a couple old cars, whoever lives there is working on. It's in that kind of an area. So my friend like parked at the healthcare center and he walked like through somebody's backyard to get to this haunted house.
Oh,
he's like, I don't think I was supposed to go back there. And the guy comes out, like we all had to wait in a pile, like in a collective group for the guy to come and like lead us through. And I think this is the owner operator of Terrified Exist. I watched a clip of the haunted house on the news and he was there. I think this is like his whole deal. This haunted house did not have a lot of people working at it. And I kind of admire that, how like super, super small and lo-fi it is. So he puts you in like a maze made out of pallets, just like shipping pallets, you wander around. There's like not really any props. At one point we turned the corner and there was an old refrigerator and we thought maybe somebody would pop out the old refrigerator, but they didn't. So I don't know what that was there for. Maybe that's just where they keep their sodas. And like I walk past like a chair and like there's nothing in the chair, right? But sometimes like him or one of his buddies will like jump out and scare you. And after you get out of the pallet maze, then you're in a field with like all these trees in it. And there's like clotheslines strung up between the trees to kind of make a maze. And then you just walk through that. And again, there's no decorations. There's no props. There's like maybe a skeleton off to the side, but the skeleton is not lit. You're not really supposed to look at the skeleton. Maybe you look at the skeleton during the day, but at night you can kind of only make out that there's a skeleton. Mm-hmm. And there's hardly anybody around. Like this is not the full like production design, full staff, everybody's in hair and makeup Halloween haunted house. It's like, no, you're going to wander around in the woods. And you're going to wonder, why am I wandering around in the woods? And at the end of the thing, you really don't know.
Especially if it's a haunted house. And
not a house. No part of this involved a roof. We were never undercovering.
Wild.
But I will tell you, for as small and as cheap and as untraditional as this haunted house was, I really dug it because it takes full advantage of being out in like these distant suburbs where you like have to drive down an unmarked gravel road to get to the place. There's no lights. There's some placed around the like field maze were these big barrels. It looked like they had some sort of like industrial product in them. Like I was able to catch that one had like some sort of automotive fluid in it. Like whoever owns this must have just gotten these from like work or something, taken these big sort of opaque white plastic barrels and put a strobe light in them. And it's like kind of a softer, gentler strobe light. It's not super aggressive. And there's just those barrels scattered throughout this field. And you look at them in the distance and they pulse and they look like alien eggs or something. And like, that's cool. The only lights. It's the moon and the strobe barrels. And I really like that. You're just stumbling around, just raw nature with like a gentle strobe light on you. And you really don't know what's supposed to happen, what the goal is, what the narrative of the place is, what's going to happen to you next. And what's going to happen to you next is that one guy will like approach the people ahead of you with a chainsaw. So you can obviously like see and hear it coming.
Right. Yeah.
And it's one guy with a chainsaw. You're like, okay, cool. Chainsaw, classic. And then you walk out of the maze and then you go back to your car and you're done. Like, it was such a puzzling experience, but I love that. No other haunted house is confusing like this is. I want to get lost. I want to be confused. I want to not really know where I am or what I'm supposed to do.
That's interesting. We've done some kind of stuff like that back at my old church camp. I know I've told the chainsaw story on the podcast before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've done stuff like that. We did like real lo-fi haunted houses like in the gym, right? It was like, let's have a spooky night and we'll make everything like it's the haunted house and people will jump out and scare you. And it was just kind of a dumb experience because you've spent the whole week with the people scaring you. So it's just like, oh, it's Jim. Oh, God. Jim, didn't expect to see you there.
Now that's an experience I want. You can pay top dollar for these really invasive personal haunted house experiences. I want one where every scare actor is an acquaintance of yours. Not even a close friend, but like an acquaintance. It's like your friend's brother. And you walk past and like a werewolf scares you and you're like, was that my friend's brother?
Right. If it's you're in like the middle of nowhere, not even like your home state or anything. Right. And then like all the people like jumping out and scaring you have this like odd resemblance to someone you know would just be like, what is going on here? Like that one story I think you were telling me about
yes, the Ruby Tuesdays in New Mexico. Yes,
exactly. That
experience, a haunted house.
That'd be wild. Good stuff. I don't think I've been to a haunted house in a long time.
You
not
should
really
go.
My jam, to be honest.
I love them. I laugh, I giggle, I have such a good time. I love special effects. I love tableaus. I like makeup. I like yelling. All that stuff is there. And I looked up, I was trying to find what is the best haunted house in St. Louis, because we've got a couple of these high production value ones. Sure. And apparently one of the ones we have was ranked number 4 in the entire country by like an in-industry haunted house professional magazine.
There you go. Good stuff. So we also did a maze this week. Not a haunted house maze. We did do a corn maze, though. So part of my awesome weekend is that my girlfriend and I went to a pumpkin patch. And we looked up a few different ones to see what one would be, the best one to go to. And we ended up picking one. And I was pleasantly surprised with how much stuff there was to do at this pumpkin patch. I guess I've never had like a great pumpkin patch experience because I got by this and was blown away. I was just expecting like a field of pumpkins, and that's it.
There's stuff.
Like that's what I had been to. Like I'd been to ones that have like you can get your apple cider over here. There's a hay ride around the farm over here. But mainly it's just like this is where we planted the pumpkins this year. Go pick one out. But this place was wild. They had all sorts of stuff. They had a petting zoo. They had a hay ride. They had a corn maze. They had like a stage area for like live music in the evenings and stuff like that. They had all kinds of like, this is absolutely a picture opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
They had some of the cheesy ones that were like the wooden panels with the faces cut out, right? They had that stuff. They had some that were meant to look like I got a good picture of my girlfriend and I on it's like the back of a truck bed with bales of hay in it, and it's meant to look like it's in the middle of a cornfield, but it's only the back half of the truck. So like the whole thing is not there, but it's made to look like the whole thing is there when you take a picture. They had some really, really interesting stuff there. We got to pet some llamas, some goats.
Oh, llamas!
Yeah. The pigs were on the loose. There was a couple pigs and a number of baby pigs. And in
piglets.
the petting zoo, yeah, the like gate to get in and out was just like you could open it up and it would swing back shut. So somehow, some way, the pigs escaped. But of course,
pigs are smart.
They couldn't get far because everyone was just like, "Oh, the little piglets, let me go pet them." And so, like, everyone is crowding around them. If I did not tell my girlfriend no, we probably would have had a pet pig.
Oh my gosh, your own waddles.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that was good. We bought a big old pumpkin that it was dirt cheap. He only charged us like $8 for it, and on their thing, $8 was their like smaller ones here, and I was like, "There's no way this is more like there are bigger ones, but this was not the smallest they had, and you only charged us for the small one. Thanks, my dude. Like, this is great."
What are you gonna do with it?
I think we are planning on carving it. We haven't yet, but right now we have a small collection of different sized pumpkins outside of our front door. We also have some like plastic skeleton bones sitting there in a little graveyard and stuff like that. We even have the like window stickies that you put on there, and it's like blood splatters, and it says beware and stuff like that. So we're planning on carving that big pumpkin though, but we don't have the carving kit or all that stuff yet. So we will figure something out and get one soon. But then every paid admittance also got a free like smaller pumpkin. So since we had two tickets, we got two of these little like small pumpkins that had, I forget. So they had all different kinds of pumpkins there, like ones that I hadn't even seen. Just like I have never seen a pumpkin that is like purple and green, and it's like naturally that
oh
stuff.
My god, I gotta go look at pumpkins. Weird pumpkins. Google.
These ones were like green and white, and they had those like knots on them, and it looks like a wart on a witch's nose. Rachel is in the chat and says they called them knucklehead pumpkins, I think.
Knucklehead pumpkins.
Yeah. So that was a blast. We got to do that, and it was on the way home from that we stopped at Pops. What are you looking at? You're laughing at
I am
something.
on a gardening website. I found an article called 16 Weird Pumpkin Varieties. These are the names of pumpkins. Warty Goblin Pumpkin. Cotton Candy Pumpkin.
I think we saw the cotton candy ones.
Oh my God. Full Moon Giant White Pumpkin. Dill's Atlantic Giant Pumpkin. Gooseneck Pumpkin. Blue Pumpkin. Oh my gosh. The Peanut Pumpkin. The Bumpkin Pumpkin.
The Bumpkin Pumpkin.
Oh wow. They're so funny looking. Pumpkins
Right?
are cool.
All different shapes and sizes and colors and textures and
Oh my,
stuff.
right? Some are smooth,
wild.
some bumpy.
Yeah. So Pumpkin Patch was a success. We stopped at Pops after that. And then after that, we went downtown. My girlfriend is a big fan of Wally, and we went into this store that has it's mostly this like very witchy store. They have all sorts of like rocks and incense and stone, just all that stuff. But we found this like Wally and Eva set that was made out of it was like welded together with like nuts and bolts and different pieces of metal and stuff like that. So we picked that up, and then we went to go get some pizza. After that, we tried out a new pizza place, or new to us, and I had a really interesting pizza that I really enjoyed. It was their version of a pepperoni, so it was still pretty basic in that sense, but it was the like Neapolitan style where it does not have the like regular cheese, but it has those like those gobs of mozzarella on top, right? And then it had a honey sriracha sauce that you drizzled on top, and that honey sriracha sauce is a game changer. That was so good. Though it was strange because they brought a bottle to the table that you know how the like bottles of olive oil or sometimes alcohol have those like spouts in them on top. It had one of those, and it's this like bright orange, just like liquid, and we're just like, what is that? We don't know because it's not olive oil. Like they're not bringing out like some breadsticks or anything like that. So what is this? And then we ended up trying it, and it was the honey sriracha sauce. But on the plate, it is indistinguishable from grease on a pizza. Like that orange. It is just indistinguishable. So we're at this like fancy pizza place with just the greasiest pizza that you've ever seen, but it was delicious. It was so good. So I think I might either try and see if I can make my own honey sriracha sauce, or see if I can buy
the recipe's right somewhere. There in the name, right?
Just stir it up. But that was it was an interesting experience. It was a good time. We had a blast. But yeah, that was my good weekend.
Always exciting to try a new pizza or see a new pumpkin.
Oh yeah. New pumpkin. Check that one off the bucket list. Well, with that, let's take a quick break for some housekeeping, and then when we get back, we'll have the second half of the show, whatever that might be. We'll be back. We put a lot of hard work into the shows that we make, and yes, we make multiple different shows here at the Whatnauts, and we'd love it if you check them all out. You can find out more information on our website at thewhatnauts.com, as well as your favorite podcasting platform of choice. When you type in the Whatnauts, all of our shows will pop up right there. Just don't forget to give us a nice rating and review if you like the shows. If you want to support what we do here at The Whatnauts, patreon.com/The Whatnauts is the best place to do that. You can support us for as little as $1 a month. You can get all kinds of exclusive content at the $3 tier. You can also get a shout out and a thank you on all of our shows at the $5 tier. You can support us on Twitch by subscribing to our channel at twitch.tv/The Whatnauts, and we would love to have you all join us for our live streams and talk with us in the chat. And lastly, we have merch. If you'd like to grab yourself a shirt or a sweatshirt or a mug or something else, go to thewhatnauts.com/store to pick up some merch today. And we are back. A big shout out to all of our Patreon supporters. We thank you so much. We appreciate it. Means a ton. If you're at the $3 tier, the Pilots Club podcast this month is all about Mockingbird Lane. This is a reimagining of the Munsters. It's a modern day take on the Munsters that never made it to a full show. The pilot was aired one time as like a Halloween special, but it was a lot of fun, and it was co-created by Brian Fuller. We've talked about a number of his shows on the review show, but the Pilots Club is a lot of fun. It's a good one. So if you're a $3 patron and above, go check that out. It's a good time. Cool things that we've been up to here at the Whatnauts. Of course, it is October, so it's been all spooky stuff all the time on the review show. We've covered some manga. We've covered some movies. This week, we are covering Servant by M. Night Shyamalan. It is a TV show on Apple TV+. It's ran for at least 3 seasons.
I am a couple episodes into it now, and I'm really intrigued how this thing is running for several seasons. I'm really enjoying it. I'm just trying to imagine how far this thing is going to go. It's 4 episodes in. It's an exciting ride.
The only thing I will say, because I'm 6, I've seen the first 6 episodes, I think. Yeah, the first 6. The only thing I will say is, I don't understand how this went 3 seasons, not because it's bad, because the pace at which it does everything is just like, what is every other minute? There is a twist, there is a turn, there is something new to be creeped out at or grossed out at. It's an interesting show. It'll be one to look out for.
I also want to say, M. Night Shyamalan is one of several executive producers. He's not the co-creator, and he directed episode 1. I don't know if he's directing more episodes. Again, I'm only 4 in, but not quite as much M. Night energy as I was hoping for.
The one that's attached to the thing and is like the most recognizable, so that they're like M. Night Shyamalan, Servant. But
he's a favorite of mine, so I am happy anytime somebody puts his name on something, because I like that they believe in his name.
Right? Yeah. Good stuff. And the last thing I will say on that, Rupert Grint with an American accent. Interesting. But yes, here on the Captain's Log, Melissa, have you done your monster draft yet at work, or are you guys saving that for like the week?
That's the big day.
That's the big
Halloween.
Day. Okay.
10/31. Yeah.
There you go. That's what we did last week here on the podcast. Is we tried to name at least 50 monsters to help out Melissa for something she's up to at work. I think it was a success. But then we got our reactions to She-Hulk up. The finale was this past week. That was an incredible show. And we have our next reaction for Star Wars Andor, which continues to be incredible. I am absolutely loving that show right now. It is fantastic. So yeah, check out all of that stuff. Speaking of the reactor court, this is the end of
Housekeeping done.
By the way, but speaking of the reactor core, Black Adam. Are we doing a spoiler cast on this? What are you thinking? What are you feeling?
When do you plan on seeing the film?
I am seeing it tomorrow night. Well, so I'm Thursday night from
Okay. Well, we'll see Black Adam and tell me, one, if I need to also go see it of my own accord, being less of a DC fan than you are. And number two, if we really do need to record on it, because I think I can get time in my schedule to see the film, but I don't know when I'm going to get time to also sit down for an additional 2 hours to talk about the film I saw.
Let's put it this way.
It might take me a while. We might not get to it for like a week.
Let's put it this way. If you're not into it, I might go out on a limb and say we probably don't need to talk about it. Reviews have been bad. Reviews have been real bad.
Well, I don't want to. Well, you never know what we're going to go to a movie and find. I don't want to presume that because other people didn't find much that we will also not find much.
Sure, we could still have a lot of fun, but I mean, hey, maybe it's such a train wreck that I'm like, Melissa, you absolutely need to go watch this, and we will just have.
I don't want to look at a train wreck. I want to go in there and ask if anybody needs help. I do not like gawking at a bad movie, Kyle. I want to lift it up. I want to care for it.
I am seeing it tomorrow. I'm so interested in this movie, not because I think it'll be good, but because The Rock has been trying to get this movie made for so long. That I want to see what it actually turned out to be.
Yeah, I do really admire that this is a passion project for him.
Yeah, indeed. Well, real quickly on the Marvel side of things, mostly rumors this week. I don't really usually like reporting on. I guess I'm not reporting, but don't like repeating.
Reporting to all 10 rumors. People that might listen to this.
Wow, 10? That's an increase.
I know, Kyle. We're getting up there in the world.
Double
digits.
First and foremost, in my mind, supposedly Sasha Baron Cohen is joining the MCU. I think supposedly in Ironheart for something is what I was seeing. I didn't necessarily see a specific character attached or anything. How do you feel about this? Sasha Baron Cohen on the MCU.
I don't know him very well, but I know he is a versatile performer and he can sing. I hope they're getting him in here for singing ability.
Interesting. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't know that he's actually a very, very, versatile and talented performer. Like, they know him from Borat.
Right.
That's it. And they're like,
the man who inspired
join the MCU? What's going on? Man.
The man who inspired thousands of knockoff Halloween costumes.
But I have to say, I would actually love to see him in the MCU. I would love to see him in more dramatic roles, because the one dramatic role that I have seen him in, he was fucking phenomenal. There is a show on Netflix called The Spy. And it's starring him. I believe it was only like 6 episodes. I think it was real short, it was a mini series. If I'm not mistaken, was also based off of real events and stuff like that. And it's about a guy that goes. I don't remember if he's Israeli and like infiltrates Palestine or is Palestine. I don't know I'm not educated enough, and he infiltrates Israel. But the whole thing is a just real tense spy drama. he could get caught at any moment, and he's like deep undercover. It's wild, and it was top notch. I love it.
Nice.
So if
happy to hear
his
of
role
that.
is anything like that, I will eat this up. So
I'm happy to hear. I don't go to Netflix to explore. I go to Netflix on a specific mission. So people have to tell me if there's stuff there I need to watch.
There's a lot of stuff that I think a lot of people don't end up seeing or don't end up finding, because I hear a lot of people being like, man, there's nothing on Netflix. Like, it's all like just like they do one season of something and then they cancel it and it's all bad. The production value's not there. And I'm sitting over here like, what are you guys watching then? Because I keep finding gold. And it's just this, like, there's always new stuff. And it's just like, man. But yeah, that was a good one. Second up on Marvel news here, I am probably going to butcher his name. Yahya Abdul Mateen II, rumored for Wonder Man. It. There you go.
Good. Good for him. I have enjoyed him.
I'm not super familiar with his work. What else is he?
We saw him earlier this year. He's the new Morpheus in the Matrix Resurrections.
Oh, okay. There you go. I have seen him.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Good stuff then. Yeah, I liked him in that for sure. Wonder Man. Cool. I don't know much about him.
I'll take it.
Sure, yeah.
I think it's exciting when they pull out these real oddball, like C-list characters, because there's so much potential for what that thing could be. And that thing would not be happening unless they had a really great take on it, or if somebody was really passionate about Wonder Man.
That's kind of why I'm interested in stuff like this. Yeah, it's an obscure character. I don't know much. It's not obscure, but like the Guardians of the Galaxy were more obscure, I feel like, than Wonder Man. But yeah, just one I don't know much about. And so this could kind of go in any direction. And I'm just like, I have no idea what this is or what this will be. So fascinating stuff. But I would like to talk about some of the stuff that I've been watching recently.
Yeah, go for it.
Of course, I will say again, Andor, Star Wars Andor. Go watch this. It's incredible. It's amazing. Now, it is so good.
Kyle, people keep telling me adjectives about Andor, but I know no actual facts about Andor. I don't know a specific thing that happens. I just know great, fantastic, wonderful, which doesn't tell me anything.
You've seen Star Wars Rogue One, correct?
I don't really. I know. I remember that robot, but I don't remember a lot else.
Okay, so Star Wars Rogue One is the story of the people getting the plans to the Death
Star. I know the log line of the film.
Yeah, right. So Star Wars Andor follows that character 5 years before. So it is a prequel. But it is him, like when we see him in Rogue One, he is by that point fully bought into the rebellion. And he talks about like, hey, I've had to do some awful stuff for the rebellion. I'm a terrible person. And so this series is kind of exploring that, of like how he got to be there, how he became radicalized, how his hometown became radicalized, all of that stuff. And it's also kind of the story of how the rebellion in Star Wars came to be and how it started. And it's just, it is so smartly written. A lot of the stuff that is happening mirrors like real historical stuff. this stuff that like just the way that different cultures have dealt with fascism and rebellion and stuff like that. They shot a lot of this on location, and a lot of these locations are places that are steeped in rebellion and have that in their history and stuff like that. It's a blast. It is unlike any other thing that we've seen in Star Wars. It makes so that the Mandalorian is a lot like the cartoons in the best way possible, because I love those cartoons, but it feels like a live action version of those cartoons. This feels like your prestige HBO drama. It's fantastic. So that's all I will say on that. It's good. Go check it out. But I returned to The Great Pretender.
Oh,
this was a show that you and I had covered on the review show. We watched season 1 last year. I loved that show. It was a surprise.
That was a fun one.
I found it randomly on Netflix, and we watched it, and I was like, holy moly, I love this. This was incredible. Season 2, so good. Still, that show is incredible. Just to give a little info to you, Melissa, do you remember what the main character's dad was in that show? You get very little info about him. No? Okay. So in the first season of the show, you learn that the main character's father, when he was young, was arrested. He was a lawyer, but he was arrested as part of a child trafficking ring. In season 2, you learn that may not be the full story. And they explore his father's history. You explore Laurent's history. The whole season is one heist instead of like multiple smaller ones here. It's just one giant heist, and it has twists and turns and all sorts of stuff, and it is incredible. One part Ocean's 11, one part Cowboy Bebop, the opening credits.
That sounds fair.
And the end credits are also fantastic in that show. But the animation is beautiful. The art direction is incredible.
That was a gorgeous one.
I'm glad I watched that. There's no season 3 announced yet, so it sounds like they're probably not doing it. But they did tease a season 3 at the end of season 2, and it seems like they might scam the president of the United States. Which is,
what is this, National Treasure 3?
Right? So, The Great Pretender, Netflix. That was good. And last but not least, I watched the 4th and final season of Killing Eve.
Oh!
My girlfriend started rewatching it because she had wanted to get to the 4th season, and so I like peeked in every now and then to kind of refresh my memory. But then we watched the 4th and final season together, and it was good. I like the first 2 seasons the best, and I think it kind of took a step down in the 3rd and 4th season. It was still. I loved it still. Season 4 ended up being very, very funny. They have some comedic moments in there that are just gold. But that's the thing, is the other seasons didn't have that comedy in there, so it also just kind of felt weird and out of place. But yeah. Done with that show. I can mark that one off my list. If you like,
I've still never seen it. I pitched you season 1 several times, and you never picked it. And I have never watched it in my own time.
I ended up watching it on my own time at some point. Melissa, you will love it, especially with your
How much of it?
I think you will like the entire
Okay.
show.
Okay.
It is a fantastic show all around. They just had lightning in a bottle in those first 2 seasons, and you just kind of got used to it by the 3rd and 4th.
Okay.
Yeah, but just with how much I know you like the Daniel Craig, James Bond movies and stuff like that, this is right up your alley. So
Okay.
I highly recommend it.
I never know what to do when people like really praise early seasons of a show and don't like the end of the show. Do I watch the show or not? If I watch all the parts you said were good, and then I keep watching the parts you said were bad, am I supposed to stop? Am I supposed to finish it? Like, nobody gives you a game plan. Like, you know, there's like the machete order for Star Wars where they like they mix everything up to give you the best possible experience and really have you get the most out of the prequels. I need those for everything. I need to know like how I'm supposed to approach the parts of things that people love, but they don't like that part. Like, what do I do with it? Coming to it after everybody realizes they don't like that part.
Form your own opinion. Make your own path. Make your own order. Do all of that stuff. I feel like stuff like the machete order of Star Wars or whatever long running franchise, that stuff I feel like is better for like once you have the entire context. Like it makes sense to me of like, okay, now if you want to like revisit it, or if you want to make a podcast on that series and you don't want to do every little small thing, but you only want to do the important bits, like that's what I feel like that stuff is for. But I know there are some people that really enjoy like, hey, this story's been like running for decades. I don't got the time. Like, just give me the good stuff. Like, what are the what's the good stuff here? And that can be helpful to a lot of people. But make your own opinion. Yeah, go watch Killing Eve. That's what I say.
I'll eventually find the time. I don't think I watched anything this week except for my same old like. It's a YouTube video about Universal Studios Florida.
Well, there you go. I will say I was not expecting the episodes of Servant to only be half an hour. I thought that was going to be like
fun.
Full hour stuff. Yeah, so I was sitting there and episode 1 was done. I was like, that was short. And the next one was half an hour. And the one after that was half an hour. I was like, okay, I'm actually okay with this. This is fantastic.
Yeah, I like a snappy show, or like a show that is the pace it needs to be. Like these are like 30, 35-minute episodes. Yeah. And I like that they don't pad it out to 43 minutes or try and smush it down into 23. They're like, no, 32. We're very comfortable at 32.
I would kind of say the same thing about Killing Eve, because it's not one of those shows. They are the 40-minute length.
Okay.
But it is like the seasons are only 8 episodes each in that. So it is it's a shorter season, right? And yeah, like it really feels like they have a specific flow to the story that they want to tell. And I think it works out. It just like, it felt like they had an idea of what they wanted to make and how they wanted to adapt it, because it's supposedly based on some books, like
some books,
some books, you know, just some of them.
Not every book. The show is not based on every book. Don't worry.
Just every book that ever existed, this show is based on it.
Every book. Girl with the dragon tattoo, very hungry caterpillar. They're all in here.
Good Night Moon, your favorites. They're all here.
When are we gonna get the kids' book, Connected Universe? Brown bear, what do you see? Very hungry. We've got the Eric Carley Connected Universe. We're gonna get little critters in there. The little critter comes out in a post-credit sequence.
Rachel in the chat says Riverdale? Based on every book.
Based on them all.
That's funny. Good stuff. Well, that's kind of all I have for this week.
I've got one quick little anecdote. I want to share you a story from trivia last night.
Yeah.
Last night, the visual round at trivia I was hosting was to acknowledge the birthday of the creator of Big Bang Theory and thus also Young Sheldon. There was a picture round where there's 8 images of TV shows that have been Young Sheldonified. That is, it is a kid doing the thing in the adult TV show, right? So it's like it's like a kid lawyer and it's kid Better Call Saul, you know. And one of the most delightful parts of my job is reading the wrong answers that people enter. And one of these pictures was a kid Moon Knight, and it's Moon Knight in like the Mr. Knight mask. So it's not like they photoshopped like a child, like a stock photo of a child in there. They just took Mr. Knight and like made his body smaller and his head bigger. Right. So he kind of looks like he's got childlike proportions. And almost everybody got it right. But one team, and you're just supposed to name the original show. So most people are like, Moon Knight, I know him. And one team wrote down Ninjageddon Lego.
Ninjageddon Lego.
Ninjageddon Lego.
Oh, well, yeah, they're mixing stuff here. There's Ninjago.
There's Lego Ninjago.
Right.
But this is like
there's Ninja Gaiden, which is a video game.
This is Ninjageddon. This is the apocalypse of ninjas, but also it's Lego.
I'd watch that.
Right? I want to know whatever Ninjageddon Lego is.
Right? Imagine it's a zombie movie, but when people die, they come back as ninjas. It's Ninjageddon. I'd watch that. Just a giant wave of ninjas slowly taking over the world.
I like this idea that it's a standard zombie plot, but instead of like people dying and getting bit and turning into a zombie, they turn into a completely other thing. Like,
right.
I don't know. He's a mummy now. I don't know how that happened. We gotta run all these mummies.
It's not like the Yakuza are taken over. Like it's not like these are like actual ninjas. They have an organization, but it is that like World War Z level of just like ninjas, just a giant wave of them, just ninjas on ninjas standing on one another. Yeah, just zombies, but they're ninjas.
Right. Too many.
Exactly.
Too hungry. Too quiet.
Man. Good stuff. Good stuff. That's good. So that was your second full week, right? Doing the trivia stuff?
I've done it 3 times now.
The third week. There you go. Cool. Good stuff. Well, hopefully we get more exciting trivia tidbits like that down the road on the podcast. That'll be fantastic. But yeah, I think that's about it for this week's show. Good times.
I do want to say, next week, watch out. It is our annual Halloween tradition. We are going to take past anecdotes we've told each other in episodes of the Captain's Log, and we're going to turn them into spooky campfire tales to tell each other. We're going to have our spooky lights. We're going to be dressed up in costumes. We're going to have candy. It's time for our annual McRib Sterling night.
And if you have no idea what McRib Sterling is, That's a-okay. I don't think we
Right.
truly know either.
We barely do.
Yeah.
He's our only piece of original content.
We have some built-in lore. But yes, that'll be a blast. That'll be this next week. So get ready for that. With that being said, Melissa, where can the people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at WilkyWit. That's WILKYWIT. And listen to my other podcast, Saturday Morning Obscurities, show where me and my brother Jams talk about weird old kid shows you feel like only you remember. Our latest episode was on the new Addams Family, I think it was. It was a 90s Addams Family reboot that you may remember airing on the Fox Family channel before it was the ABC Family channel, before it was Freeform. Like 2 generations back, they had an Addams Family reboot, and we talk about it.
Good stuff. That's cool. Yeah, and if you guys would like to follow me, I am at Yo Kyle Springer on Twitter. I was about to say I'm at Twitter. I'm at Yo Kyle Springer on Twitter. If you guys would like to stay up to date with all of the stuff that we do here at the Whatnauts, we are at the Whatnauts on Twitter. So go like, share, subscribe, and we will see you all next time. This has been number 210 of the Whatnauts Captain's Log. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.